Hey guys, this week I'm going to... Oh, got a letter. Okay, well... Dear Tekking, I'm quite sorry to say that I will be unable to fulfill your Christmas wish this year. As you have specified, it is simply beyond even my power to have Grimmjow and Nell do something, have Aizen go bonkai, have Ryukin appear in the plot, and end the series in a dignified way that ends all plot holes. I will, however, see what I can do about the Ichigo Rukia thing. Have a Merry Christmas anyway. Sincerely, Santa Claus. Well, I tried, guys. That's all I got. Oh, okay. So anyway, back to the... Everybody, Model T6, oh, sorry, I mean, Tekking 101 here, yeah, totally, me. Here to review Bleach chapter number 610, entitled, The Mausoleum of Skulls. Fucking metal title. I love it when we always have the metal titles, you know, like Marching Out the Zombies, or Mausoleum of the Skulls, or, you know, like, anything that could be basically an 80s hard rock cover band or something, you know? Start off where I guess we kind of continue with the monologue that Hashwolf was giving last chapter. If you remember correctly, Hashwolf and Uryu were just kind of still chilling out in the cage while the Zero Squad's fighting the Stern Ritters, and while Yuha is fighting against Ichibei. I guess that's what they've been watching for the last, you know, 5 or 6 chapters. And Hashwolf started explaining to Uryu exactly what Yuha's power is, because I guess it would make sense that Uryu would not know what Yuha was capable of. So Hashwolf continues on. He states that His Majesty usually fights with his eyes closed, and we get little scenes of all the times we've seen Yuha in combat, which honestly is not very much. We saw him very briefly when he killed Yamamoto, but right after that, we really haven't seen him in any kind of pitched combat up until right now against Ichibei. I mean, yeah, he had that little scuffle with Ichigo, but, you know, that didn't go anywhere. He fought very, very briefly against, oh, what was that? No, that's not even funny, but I was going to say Korinji, but no, he didn't fight against Korinji. That was all on Nyanzo Weisel. So, yeah, he really hasn't fought really that much. And he states that he hasn't even used his full power up to this point. However, it's not like he's doing this just because he thinks lowly of the enemy or not. Like, oh, the enemy is so inferior, I don't even need to use my full powers. It's the fact that he couldn't, because he goes on that diatribe about how that little, you know, poem went in the history books of the Quincy ruler or Kaiser or however that went. He's like, you know, 900 years to regain form, 90 years to regain intellect, 9 years to regain power. However, one of the drawbacks with that 9 years to regain power is that he was not able to express his power as in the Almighty at all during those 9 years. The fact that he's using it right now against Ichibei means that those 9 years have ended and he's achieved his full level of power. And that kind of makes sense. I mean, you can't use power and store up power at the same time. It doesn't work like that. That's kind of contradictory. Now, whenever you might be saying, well, he did use his power when he divided out his power amongst the Stern Ritters. What I think that is, and how we learned a little bit about Yuha's backstory back in 565, when Yuha inscribed the letter onto the individual, I think that was bestowing them the power. Like let's use Asnot, for instance. You know, he's inscribed F for the fear within Asnot, but it was up to Asnot's own Ryatsu that really got the ability to, you know, like, use his abilities to the full extent that he saw. It wasn't like Yuha was granting him all this amazing power directly from himself. It was literally just, okay, I'm going to give you the potential called the fear, and however strong you are and however strong you become, then you can take this power of the fear to whole new heights, because otherwise the Stern Ritters wouldn't need to train at all. If Yuha just, you know, okay, here's the fear, you can do everything that you can do. He's like, that would be kind of, there'd be no point for them to train. They would just basically be puppets at Yuha's will at that point. But yeah, all Yuha does is bestow them with the potential for that ability. However they train with it and how they gain, you know, new levels of power, that's all on them. He explains that if he had used his power during that 9-year gap, then all the powers that he gave to the Stern Ritters would have been taken away. Once again, he's only giving out a little bit of power to each of the Stern Ritters so they have the potential for the ability, but meanwhile, he's actually storing everything up. So if he used the Almighty while he was doing that, everything would just get sucked right back into him. He might have even regressed back to the original form. Like, remember, Yuha is constantly, like, he has to constantly absorb power back into himself, or he's going to regress back into that form when he was a baby, where he couldn't see, couldn't hear, where he was helpless. Which, I mean, that might be the way he's going to die at the end. That might be Kubo explaining, okay, that's the one way, you know, Yuha's going to die, where, you know, he will eventually regress back into that pitiful form, like how Envy died in Fullmetal Alchemist. You know, Envy was this big, huge, hulking, shape-shifting monstrosity, and his true form was just like this little pathetic little worm that could literally be killed just by being stepped on. So when Envy died, it wasn't like we were feeling like, yeah, Envy's dead, suck it! It was like, oh, dang, he's just a little worm on the inside. That's kind of sad, and then he kills himself. Well, But yeah, that's kind of the deal is here. The time for our prayers have spanned across 1,000 years to be answered has finally come. Is that implying that Hashwolf is about as old as Yuha, as in 1,000 years? What is the deal with this guy? I'm more interested in Hashwolf than I am with Yuha. Hell, at least with Yuha, we know a little bit. You know, we know about his childhood, how he gathered his powers. You know, we know something, like at least something to grasp onto. With Hashwolf, it's just like this, I'm a member of this glam rock band that's just hanging out in the court of our Quincy Kaiser. I'm apparently a big deal, but I don't even know what I do. Maybe we'll find out in the next year or so, but I really want to know what he can do beyond just, like, I know he's the balance, but we don't even really know what that power can do, you know, to its full extent, you know? Yes, so before we continue, I just want to make it very clear to everybody, okay? Very apparent. All the shit we've seen Yuha do up to this point, everything since his introduction, that was all done without activating his true power, as in the Almighty, a single time. Let's have a fun little recap, just in case you forgot of all the shit he's done. Oh, I apologize for my insolence, Your Majesty.
Whatever.
Yeah, he was a real idiot. Hey, you're not gonna do that to me, right?
Probably not. I said probably. Yeah, one shot at Hollybell off screen, so there's that. Boom! Big explosion! That was all me. I did that.
Hey, you just blew up my house, you dick!
Yeah, well, it's not like you're gonna be using it in the near future.
What do you mean by that? Getsuga Tensho!
Rejected.
Hey, what the?
Winning. Holy selection powers, go! I never liked that guy.
Yuha Buck, Master of the Universe. Whoa, it's totally radical, man. Alright, so we get the epic title page, Bleak 610, Mausoleum of Skulls, where we see Yuha Bach just striking this epic pose, and his cape is flowing in the wind, and he's all, you know, full of darkness. I believe the little scraps that are falling off of it, I think that's the remnants of Ichibei's ink that he used when he activated his Shikai that's falling off of him. It's also kind of falling off his sword, Soiberong, which I dubbed it Soiberong. It's not actually named Soiberong. I'm gonna get a bunch of comments like, well, wait, what was his name? No, what was his sword named Soiberong? Now, that was a name I came up with. It's German. Look it up. But yeah, his sword began to, you know, the ink started coming off that too, so whatever name that Yuha did give it, I guess that was restored as well. We cut back over to Ichibei, who's standing in front of his seal. Remember back, and I think it was chapter 605 when they started their fight, how Ichibei, you know, he made one line and he's like, okay, Yuha from this line, and he made another line like 20 yards back. He's like, from this line to that line, I will have defeated you. And then he, you know, just I guess for insurance, he paints this big circle behind him and he inscribes the seal kanji in it, so maybe that's inside him, like, you know, Yuha won't be able to physically pass that seal, although next chapter I'm pretty sure Yuha is just going to walk up to the fucking thing and then just like twick it with his fingers and the thing will shatter to 1,000 pieces and he'll walk right the hell through. That is if it doesn't disappear following the events that end this chapter. But yeah, Ichibei's standing there and, you know, he's bleeding, you know, his stomach's pierced, you know, Yuha stabbed him last chapter, but he doesn't seem that really injured. He's the head of the Shinigami after all. That's a little poke in the, you know, a little poke in the stomach cavity. He's not going to take him down. How could you have survived that? What ability did he just use? Why am I the one about to be destroyed? I'm sure you're asking yourself all these questions. Okay. Alright, so you may notice a little trend in this chapter, and probably what we're going to have continuing on the rest of the series, is that Yuha, when he activated the Almighty power, he gains a couple extra pupils in his eye, and I don't know if that's supposed to be taken like, yeah, it's supposed to make us more scared of him. To me, it's just the most, it's hilarious, it's goofy, it's something you'd see out of freaking Looney Tunes, you know? Like, I'm not like, okay, he has more pupils. That's not really striking, you know, an epic imposing fear of, oh man, this is the serious antagonist. It's like when Nyanza Wiesel showed up and he had 2 tongues, and people were like, whoa, 2 tongues. I'm like, 2 tongues, really? You're freaked out by that? Now, I don't know, if he got some cool badass tattoo markings on him, maybe gained some cool armor or some shit foreboding, like, wings or something behind him, I'm going going back to Ginjo, strangely. You know, I will give Ginjo one thing. His character wasn't really that developed, but he had a damn cool, you know, Bankai armor mode. You gotta give me that shit with, like, the wings, you know, repelling off of him like exhaust, the skeleton. Guy knew how to dress in style. I'll give him that much. I'll give Ginjo that much. With these eyes now opened, I can see everything from this very instant, all the way into the distant future. Ah, shit. Oh, okay, we got one of these characters. I can see your future, and you're destroyed. Now, let me show you a picture of the future. I guarantee you, because he said this, and because that's an element of his power, at one point in the series, maybe it won't happen until the very final battle between Ichigo and Yuha, but it's gonna go something like this. I can guarantee you. It's going to go like this. You know, Ichigo's fighting against Yuha, and Ichigo delivers some kind of big blow on him, and Yuha's going to be like, "Ha! You fool! I could see into the future. I know you've already lost." And Ichigo's going to do some heroic, like, you know, "I don't care what you've seen. I'm going to protect my friends. You're going down, Bach." And then he pulls out some even bigger, super awesome Muget's 2.0 shit, and then just boom! And then Yuha's like, "Wait a minute! I didn't say this! My powers have failed me! How can you reject fate, you lowly human substitute half-breed fucker?" And that's how he's gonna go. I swear to God, it's gonna happen, okay? Happens in Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, Ishizu's like, "I can see into the future," and Kaiba's like, "Screw the rules," and she's like, "No, my power failed me." Every character that can see into the future, or claims to see into the future, it always comes back to butt-fuck him in the end. So guess what? That's how it's gonna go. Just know it right now. If Kubo doesn't do that, I would be massively surprised. But anyway, he states that also all the abilities that the Sternreiters could have ever done, so I hope we get to see some of them in the near future. Maybe that's why he didn't use, like, stuff like, you know, the Visionary, the Question, the Fear up to this point. Now that he can access his almighty power, he has full access to every power. I hope that might, you know, bestow something, you know, cool in later chapters, maybe a different design. Maybe we'll get to see, you know, a clever use, like he'll maybe use the Visionary power a cool way, as opposed to Gremmy, because let's be honest here, he can pretty much solo everybody and everything with just the Visionary power alone. The fact that that's just one single scrap of his power, just, it's like the one power that gives you all the power. How is that just one element of your power? It's everything. It's every power. But yeah, anyway, he states, "That is my power, the Almighty." And then we cut to, oh, okay, that's... Looks like Ichibei just, like, pressed his face against a office scanner, and it just, like, and then it came out all, like, you know, distorted, fish-eyed and whatever. I don't know. "You're going to defeat me? Ha! Don't get too upset of yourself, Bach. Even though you took off the name, you're still not named at all, and it's not like the name Yuha really had any meaning to it to begin with." Yeah, how did he get that name? Oh, no, I think it was explained. It wasn't like Yuha like a miracle baby, and then the people surrounding him just named him Yuha when he was, like, in his teenage years. That doesn't really, it's not like he was bestowed upon that name with any greater meaning. It was just given to him by a bunch of random people that he helped. I guess he just decided to stick with it. I mean, it's clearly, I know what Kubo's going for here. It's, you know, Yuha, Yahweh, it's like it's the, you know, the interpretation for the name of the Christian God. I know what he's going for here, but the name itself, I don't know why they keep going back to that name Yuha. I mean, I guess that just means, like, he's God. He's literally God, so I guess it does have some meaning. So yes, Ichibei states that regardless of what power that Yuha might have, and despite the fact that he even shrugged off his Bankai, all the darkness in this world still belongs to him. In which case, he removes the darkness from Yuha's cloak. I gotta question this power. Okay, it's the ability to absorb all sorts of darkness and all sorts of blackness in the world. Anything achromatic, basically. I understand that, but if he's absorbing, like, all the black from Yuha's cloak, shouldn't his cloak turn white? You know, I always had a problem with that. I mean, I know I didn't do Chapter 608 review. I would have mentioned it then. But yeah, if he's absorbing the color black, then color's not, okay, black's not a color. It's the absence of color. But if he was doing that, then wouldn't he just, wouldn't the color change? It would be something else. But yeah, he's clearly using this power on a larger scale than anything we've seen yet in the series. He begins swirling all the blackness around him, and it's kind of like a big, huge vortex. He's taking it all in. I mean, the question is, guys, how much more black could this be? And the answer is none. None more black. Oh my god. No! His power is so strong, it's even breaching our dimension! Oh no! All blackness is vanishing! It looks like a horrible chroma keying effect on my Power Director editing program. Not that it has any connection with that whatsoever. Oh god, what is this? Oh, Twilight. Oh, everlasting darkness, come to my aid. He would make a great 14-year-old emo teenager. Drink up! As you drink, your life will also soar away. Oh, okay, I see where we're going with this. We're doing this the Shunsui Kyoraku route, where instead of having an all balls out, sword slam, we're just gonna, chill out, have a couple drinks, sit down, just talk about life. You know what? I'm happy to join you, Ichibei. That's kind of what I need right now anyway. Oh yeah, okay, this is nice. I don't get to pamper myself as much as I should, Anyway, unfortunately, I don't have any, sake or sakazukis or anything laying around, unfortunately, I'm American here. What I do have is a, cat saucer and some Sunny D. So, I guess we'll just have to Americanize the hell out of this. I guess it is kind of like an Ochoko, so I guess that's sort of... Oh, I spilled a bunch of that. Okay, well, whatever. Now that's peaceful right there. As you drink, your life will also soar away. Flowers shall bloom, even on the road to death. Oh, that was really cool, Ichibei. Hey, bro, you're probably gonna die at the end of this chapter, so do you want to go out a really badass way, or do you want to go out just kind of reciting poetry at some nightclub in LA? Where our appetizers, dye them pitch black. Split them into pieces of 8, and with black flames, let them burn black, and let us consume them down to the very last morsel. What is left over are pure white bones. Let us erect a grave and mourn, such that you will never be born into this world again, such that you will not become our sacrifice. Whoa, that was pretty deep, bro. I don't know if I'm going to be able to top that. I know. I know some Bleach haikus. Cone flirting with girls. He got caught by Ichigo. Poor lion got punched. Yes, that's going to be a new series. Actually, no, I'm not sure if that was a poem just for dramatic effect or if it was kind of like a Kido incantation, like another hidden Hado. Well, regardless, he gathers up all the darkness to form a kind of like Buddhist temple-looking thing. Futen Daisatsu Ryo! And this basically means the slaughterous mausoleum of non-reincarnation. This makes sense given the fact that Kubo kind of has an overlying Buddhism theme throughout the series, or Shintoism, depending on what you refer to. And Ichibei, always being referred to as Osho or monk, would also kind of go along with this. He states that he stole 100 nights of Soul Society's future to have enough darkness to make this technique. A technique that will literally crush Yuha's bones into dust and then further it into nothingness. Enjoy your descent into a pitch black hell, as you no longer will even be reincarnated. Most human on the face of the planet, in history even, but he's still simply a human as he's a Quincy. I think it's like, it removes you from space and time, your soul can never come back, trapped in this black temple of damnation for all eternity. However, we don't really get to see that because Yuha simply gives Ichibei the death stare and states, I should have already mentioned that I'm all-seeing. All of my abilities, all I have to witness them, and everything that I see is powerless before me. Yet, I'm not going to explain how I can do all that shit yet, we're just gonna go backtrack on what happened last chapter and say, like, I can do anything because I'm the letter A. So do you still think that my name is devoid of meaning? My name is you. I can't get over that. He looks so freaking goofy. It's okay, straight face. Whew. Okay, let's do this. My name is Yuha, and the one who shall take everything from you. So we end off the chapter with wow, that was fucking gee. He got his freaking like head like twisted off. It's like we could see his spinal cord. And, that was intense, yo. So, yeah, Ichibei sorta died. Like, you can't even say, like, he's coming back or anything. He got his, like, Kubo made a point to say, like, yeah, his entire, like, abdomen area, that's gone now. Yuha basically just removed that, so he's now, like, 4 limbs and a head that's gonna be completely twisted off his body in this, like, contorted X pattern. His freaking spinal cord sticking out. I didn't see that shit coming, did you? I mean, I saw Ichibei possibly being defeated, and then that's when Ichigo's group was going to go up, and, I didn't see that coming most certainly, so, Kubo, I don't have a lot to say about this, other than the fact that you're at the point of no return. You're at the point of no return. Ichibei, came out and said that as far as Shinigami go, he's the leader, the originator, and the most powerful. Now, you could say Ichigo maybe at the end of the series with his full power realized he may be in fact the strongest Shinigami, like he's the exception, and we still have the Soul King, of course. But regardless of all that, Ichibei was still a really big deal, and he was basically amounted as just being a test subject to show off Yuha's true abilities. Which, I mean, that means a lot, that Yuha decided that he was worthy of his true power, and this is probably seeing Yuha at his utmost, well, I shouldn't say utmost maximum, because we don't even know if he can do a Volt standing yet or some shit, but, you know, I just hope you, like, you better know what you're doing, alright? Because, you know, Ichibei was a character we never really got to know a lot about. You know, it's not like he's killing off, like, a main character here that we knew about years in advance. Ichibei was only introduced in the past 2 years, but he was still a big deal. I'm not that personally torn up by his death, but what this means for what's going to happen in the future, meaning that the Shinigamis, apparently the most strongest member, is now dead, and dead in a very serious way, unless, you know, Shutara is going to show up with, like, her sewing needle and, like, stitch him back together. Yeah, he's dead, and whatever happens next, it better make sense, okay? It better make sense. And whoever defeats Yuha, it better make sense how he could defeat Yuha and not Ichibei. I mean, Ichigo's going to be evolved in some way, like, you know, he has to, you know, as the point of the story, but, yeah, that was pretty intense, yo. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this, Bleach chapter review. This will be Tekken 101 signing out. Let's raise our glasses to Ichibei. Come on, let's do it. You don't have to do the whole traditional Japanese thing. Yeah, traditional Japanese. I'm drinking fucking Sunny D out of a cat saucer. Semi-traditional Americanization Japanese. This is the 4Kids. Yes, I'm 4Kidsing this shit. I take Japanese culture, I twist it all around into this. That's a pretty good analogy, actually. But no, take your drink, take something, take your Coke, take your Pepsi, take your vodka, I don't know, whatever you're currently drinking. And let's have a toast to Ichibei Hyosubi, the Eyeball Monk. Goddamn.